In the fourth grade, we spend a lot of time comparing different things. We've compared things in math, science, social studies, and today I'd like to talk to you about comparing things when we're reading and writing in language arts. We compare things all the time in class. We compare numbers. We have 1,632 is greater than 1,362. That's a comparison. We compare things, especially when we put them in a graphic organizer, like comparing solids and gases and liquids to see how they're same and how they're different. We have compared people when we discussed the differences and the similarities between the lives of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. But what can we use when we want to make comparisons when we are reading or writing? For those, we use similes and metaphors. What is a simile? A simile is a comparison of two ideas in the same sentence. You can tell a simile is being used when you see the words like or as in the sentence. Here are some examples. Sam can run like the wind. The simile is highlighted in blue, like the wind, and you can see that Sam and the wind are the two things being compared. My hands are as cold as ice. As cold as ice is the simile, again highlighted in blue. Hands and ice are the two things that are being compared. A metaphor is a little bit different. What is a metaphor? A metaphor also compares words in a single sentence, but in another way. A metaphor compares two things by making one thing completely different and renaming it or turning it into something else. Additionally, a metaphor will not use the words like or as. Those are for similes alone. Here are some examples of some metaphors. The clouds were fluffy balls of cotton in the sky. Fluffy balls of cotton is the metaphor, comparing clouds and cotton. You are a bundle of energy. Bundle of energy is the metaphor, comparing you and the bundle of energy. The tornado was an angry monster that ripped through the town and left nothing standing. An angry monster is the metaphor, and it is comparing the tornado with a monster. Why would I use similes and metaphors when I am writing? In reading and writing, similes and metaphors are types of figurative language that make basic, ordinary ideas more interesting and easier to understand or connect with. So they really help the reader when they are reading material to understand what the writer is saying. How do you use similes and metaphors? Similes and metaphors can be used to compare one thing to something you already know or recognize. The hungry badger was as quick as lightning when it grabbed the beetle. That's a simile. The meteor was a brilliant ball of light streaking across the sky. That's a metaphor. It's using things that you would be very familiar with, like lightning and balls of light, to compare things that you may not be familiar with, like a badger or a meteor. Similes and metaphors can also help you relate to ideas by describing how much or how little something is. My little brother moved like a snail because he was tired and didn't want to go to school. That's a simile that tells you how little the brother is moving. He's going very slowly like a snail. Our class was a roaring stampede when we went out to recess today. This is a metaphor that compares our class with a very fast, very loud stampede. Similes and metaphors give readers a vivid picture in their heads that helps them visualize a setting. Mom had so much flour and sugar sprinkled around the kitchen it looked like a bakery. This is a simile that helps us see what the kitchen really looked like in our head. The prairie was a dust bowl with red wheat stalks swaying in the blistering heat. This is a metaphor that helps paint a picture in our heads of a very vacant, very dry, desert-like area. Similes and metaphors help writers convey or share emotion so readers can connect better with a character. Her face was set like a stone, determined not to show any fear. This is a simile that compares her face to a stone so that you know she's not showing any kind of emotion. Eddie is a class clown, always joking around and never serious about anything. This is a metaphor that gives you a clearer picture of what Eddie's personality is like, always joking around, never serious, just like a clown would be. So, in summary, here are some of the things that we learned today about similes and metaphors. Both similes and metaphors are used to compare ideas in reading and writing. Similes will always use the words like or as. Metaphors will replace the first object or idea with something completely different. Writers use similes and metaphors to add interest and meaning to their ideas, settings, and characters.